This is Why Not reporting to you live from the commission's house where Steveo and I have broken in to try to find the commish. He's not here, of course. It's the second time I tried to come to your place and you're not here. But we got inside now, which means we took your Diplomatico. Cheers to that.
Cheers. Delicious.
Delicious Matico. Gia's here. Steveo here. Just went on vacation. First cruise, right? First cruise?
First cruise.
First cruise. Tell us where you went and how it was.
We went to Cozumel, Mexico. It was great. We only got to spend there a day, so it wasn't too much time, but the weather was pretty decent, and lots of bikinis, lots of beer, cervezas. Yeah, it was a good trip.
So a lot of boat time is what you're telling me. A lot of time spent on the boat.
Definitely. The boat, the water was pretty nice the first couple of days when leaving. We left out of Fort Lauderdale, and then coming back, it was a lot more rough.
The boat was rocking.
Yeah, it was rocking. Waves were terrible, so it wasn't too bad.
How you feeling now?
I'm still a little rocky, a little sea leg, but it was definitely fun. I definitely would do it again.
Ain't nothing some Diplomatico can't cover.
Diplomatico got it covered right here.
So speaking of vacation, Steveo here just took a big L to Petey by the score of 134 to 45. The 45 was an all-time One Nickel Pub Fantasy Football League low that was earlier achieved by Isaac's 50-point performance, which coincidentally is in the last two places of the league, which is, we'll play for the Succo Bowl.
You're welcome, Petey.
Trophy here.
Petey, you're welcome.
And, was your team on vacation this week too, or what?
Definitely. They were on vacation because I started 3 of the Denver Broncos. And
Denver this week.
Bad choice to start them.
How'd Peyton do?
Peyton had negative 17, 4 picks, and then he got benched, and then he got hurt apparently.
How'd Emmanuel Sanders do?
Emmanuel Sanders, big 0, and C.J. Anderson had a big 0. So, yeah, not a good total negative 17 from 3 of my should-be awesome players.
I think Peyton's done, though. At least you ain't got to worry about starting him no more.
Yeah, he might be getting a little older, it seems like, these days, but he was the man for a while.
Old man Manning now. Old man Manning.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, in your current team's target path of playing for the Succo Bowl, you starting to think about a picture to throw up on this trophy here?
Yeah, I've got a couple that I could plan out there and do, but I'd rather Isaac have his picture ready instead of me. Sorry, Isaac. Cool.
Sorry, Isaac. You ain't sorry, Isaac.
Maybe a little, not so much, but yeah, I've got a couple. Hopefully it won't come down to that, and Isaac can maybe get some pictures ready too.
Well, currently it's looking like y'all two are the two that need to get your pictures looking ready. And just on a side note before we go, Commish, you're out of Diplomatico. It's time to order another case, but thanks for that. Sorry you're not here. Back to you.
Yeah.
Damn, fellas. Y'all drank the last of my Diplomatico. I gotta order me some more. Thanks for that report, Steveo. And why not? Welcome to Week 10 of the WNP Fantasy Football League, everyone. I'm your host and commissioner, Tony Brignola. As Why Not just reported, Nickel Dickle set a WNP Fantasy Football League low score of 45 points versus the Mighty Crazians 134 points. While no one player from either team scored more than 22 points, Pete, he did have 9 of his 10 players scoring double figures with the New England defense and special teams leading the way with 21 points. Steveo's high scorer was Peyton Manning with negative 17 points. Correction, Peyton Manning was Steveo's highest negative point scorer, and the Cincinnati defense and special teams was his highest positive point scorer with 22 points. Me and my Nagintas beat Orange Chill 181 to 149 to keep pace with Gloom, Despair, and Agony. at top of the Wild Week Western Division. Curtis had 8 of his 10 starters scoring double figures, with Aaron Rodgers at the top of that list with 39 points, but it still wasn't enough to beat Josh and his Nagintas. Curtis didn't stand much of a chance, with Jay Don't Cutley Yourself and Adrian Peterson combining for 110 fantasy points for Josh's team. Josh did get a kick in the nuts with the injury to Julian Edelman. Smacked my bench up, lost to Sucko My Sacco by the score of 187 to 165. With the win, I escaped being in a tie for last in the West with Isaac. Right about now is the part where I would enjoy my rare victory with some Diplomatico. Thanks to Why Not and Steveo, that's not happening this week. I see that Christie was able to log in and start James Starks for Isaac this week, who ended up outscoring both of his running backs 14 to 12. My top scorer was running back Jeremy Langford with 48 points. In a battle of two teams with 7 wins and 2 losses, Philly's Blow beat South Park Cows 138 to 125. The game was lost for Patty by the right throwing arm of the Red Rifle, which J.J. Watt renamed Red Ryder BB Gun, also known as Andy Dalton, and his 16 points. Earlier in the week, Lisa and Brian made a trade with Sherry and Don. Don offered Des Bryant to Brian for Latavius Murray, and Lisa said yes. Brian's top scorer was Drew Brees with 37 points. Take It To Thou Limit is back to scoring over 200 points again, as they beat Gloom, Despair, and Agony by the score of 222 to 208. It was a huge offensive week for both Dean and Don, with a combined 15 out of 20 starters in double figures, with Dean having 8 of his 10 starters in double-figure points. Even with the loss, Don is barely holding on to first place in the West over Josh, while Dean is leading the East over Brian. Don's top scorer was Kirk Cousins with 66 points. Dean's high man was Tom Brady with 45 points. There are only 4 weeks left until our playoffs begin. Each one of these games are that much more important than the previous. There's still a slim chance that Isaac and Steveo might not be playing in the Succo Bowl, but I doubt it. That about wraps us up for Week 10 of the WNP Fantasy Football League. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned next week.
I chant eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I wreck the mic like a pimp shows. Here's how it goes, I am a genius, I mean this. I shape this, you'll tape this, I'm kinda fiendish. You wish that you could come into my neighborhood, meaning my mental state. Still I'm 5'8",